Thank you. As far as the YouTube goes, welcome to the next talk show. Um, this is episode 18 of the talk show. This last episode was at TFF 2 months ago. We're doing the same topic here because it's a new con, do different con, same thing. So, welcome everyone. This is the Fuzzy Butt Talk Show. It's on YouTube. It's episode 18. It's the third convention talk show. We have Miku. You have myself, I am Roxie. You have Aragon and their partner. So the first question we have is how many conventions have you been to?
So I've been going to conventions since I was probably really little. I got together in 2017. I was around 12, 13 around the time. But the first convention I went to was I was very lucky. It was Anthrocon 2018. And I lived 3 hours away from there at the time. I was in Virginia, so I used to be going there all the time. 2018, 2019, skipped 2020 because it wasn't there. I stayed with 2021. And then I went to 2022 and 3. And then I used to go to Furthermore 2018, 2019, I think 2023 as well. And then I moved to Louisiana, and then I started going to TFF and now TFF. I've also been going to a lot of anime conventions as well as oh sorry, I have a big fan of anime and music like that. So I went to Katsucon, AwesomeCon, kind of stuff.
All right, that's a lot of conventions. What is it, like 30 of them?
I mean, like probably I'm guessing maybe 7 or 8.
Seven or eight?
Yes,
That's a lot of names for seven or eight.
exactly. And I was around, and again, I'm only 19 now, but I was going to these conventions as a minor, very young. And it was definitely a very unique experience for somebody that young to go to a lot of huge conventions with a lot of people. So it's a nice perspective on how like different it is now that I'm an adult.
Yeah.
A lot of things are more accessible. Yeah.
Did you when you were smaller, was it kind of daunting for you because of all the people, or did it help you become a people person?
It definitely helped me become a people person. I was always kind of like, even at school, I was never really that social with people because I was always afraid of just like how isolated I was if somebody would like me.
Hmm.
But going to these furry cons, I actually met, going to these furry cons, I actually have some childhood friends who got me into the fandom and would bring me to these cons. And that's how I've been able to get a lot of other mutual friends of mine that I still talk to this day. And although it was kind of like a bit isolating a tiny bit isolating because I could only talk to very few people in the fandom, especially during 2018, 2019 when the one was starting to get that popularity around a lot of audiences, including young first. So it was a lot of like just trying to find the right people, and now I'm an adult. I can speak to anybody now. Right.
All right. And for me personally, this is number 14 for me. I've been to my first convention. It was TFF 2018. I skipped 2019, 20. But I did go to TFS 22. I then went to TFS 23, 24, and this year. And then I also went to TFF since 2020. There wasn't one for 2020, but 21 and up, I've been to all of those. And I've also been at ACFI, which is down in San Antonio. I was at AC last year. That was my first out of the state of Texas con that I've been to. Um, I've also been to three different feralities. I've been actually been to going to the ferality, which is a virtual con on VR chat ever since it started. So I've been to every single ferality that there is. Granted, some people have their hardware issues. I was one of those unlucky few that had those hardware issues. But either way, it's a blast, especially like when you meet a whole bunch of people, have fun. And for me personally, I have tons of experience, tons of fun, and I have tons of people who look forward to seeing me. Aragon, how many have you been to?
Well, I don't really count how many. I've lost track, but I've been going to every single con of ACFI since year zero. Ever since I realized I was a furry was probably in like 2012, 2013. It was when I went to San Japan, which was one of my first cons, and I went to what is a furry panel, and I'm like, oh, okay. I think I've always been a furry, and I never realized it. So that's when I started going to furry cons. I've been going to ACFI ever since year zero. I've been doing TFF and TFS, except obviously during the COVID years. I've been to FWA once, BLFC once, and haven't had the pleasure to go to MFF and the con yet, but hoping to go to those. But pretty much every Texas con I've been to so far, and it's been a blast. Great experiences, and some of my best friends I have now. I met through going to all these clubs.
Does that also include Shadows Fair?
Yes, I've been to a couple of Stratus first, except for the last few years to work, but I have been to Stratus.
And Burke is understandable. It's part of the reason why my husband couldn't be here today.
Oh yeah.
He is watching on the stream.
Awesome. And also this year I did get the pleasure to also go to Gym Zero of Lone Star Club.
All right, and your partner.
Well, my very first con that I've ever attended was actually TFF 2013. When I attended that con, it was a very small con held in a hotel in Addison, Texas, which is where TFF first started. And I kind of bent on and, kind of made my way towards that. And my second con that I ever went to was Arizona FurCon 2016. I got to actually go out and fly, and it was just awesome because, the experience that you get, being on your own and, going to another state is really cool and interacting with other people. And
I don't mean to cut you off, but if you all want to chit a couple chairs together, there's two over here if y'all want. Sorry, please.
that's all good. So, yeah. So it was Arizona for a con, and that was my first out of state con. It was really, really cool to be able to go out of state for the first time. And then after that, it's pretty much been TFF so on. But then I got to go to BLFC with my partner, Aragon here. We got to experience BLFC for her first time and my first time. And then after that, I got to go to her hometown con, which is ACFI. And pretty much so on till tornadoes. And I can honestly say those were really awesome cons to attend.
Oh yeah. All right, so as you can see, like we've all had our fair share of experiences. Of course, like in our areas, like you've been to a lot of out of state. I've been to a lot of in-state cons. I've been to every single Texas con there is, even the one in Austin. Actually, a friend of mine paid my way to go there.
Oh, and I actually forgot Lone Star for a con too. But
Yeah. So the next question we have up on the list, well, we kind of answered both of those, so we're gonna move on. And this is probably gonna get a laugh out of you guys, but how truly do we follow the 6-2-1 rule? For those that don't know, it's 6 hours of sleep, 2 meals, and 1 shower, and this is per day. How closely do we follow that?
So when you're a little kid and you're kind of like a bit of a gangster and more of like a rebel, you don't really want to follow the rules. So I never really took that ever into consideration. I kind of just stayed up for a long time, just texting a bunch of people about the cons until like 1 in the morning. And then I would fall asleep and wake up at probably like 9 just to like immediately start getting ready to go back the next day. Meal wise, it was always kind of hard because you would always go to the grocery store and get meals because as you can probably tell already, con meals are really expensive in the hotels.
Yes.
So you normally would want to go to the grocery store and get your meals and shower, and that at least the shower bowl I've always stick to. I've always seen people. I've always seen people make fun of like all the furries don't shower and stuff, musky huskies. So I always made sure that I was the cutest boyo ever to go to a con.
For me, I do it. I follow it as closely as I can. Um, and like I always like for every con, if I'm not doing anything, I'll take extra sleep. I'll probably sleep about 8 hours a day. And probably like 3 or 4 meals. I'll eat as often as I'm hungry, and I will take multiple showers a day because I do wear my food suit a lot, and we sweat. It's human nature. Like we all get stinky, we get smelly, so I take multiple showers a day, sometimes 3 or 4 a day. And so it's very important that you don't have BO because not everybody likes that. Aragon?
All right, so I pretty much follow 6-2-1 rule pretty good. Definitely 6 hours of sleep. I can't function with less than 6 hours of sleep personally. But even at cons, I do sleep at least 6 hours for the night. The 2 meals, I try to follow as much as possible, especially if it comes wide staff, which tends to be like TFF and ACFI. Sometimes you too busy and you're working so you forget to eat. But luckily, we have some good friends that sometimes will like remind you to have meals. So you have a significant other of friends that remind you. That's always a good thing. And the one shower, always. I always do at least one shower. I follow them very strictly.
Did y'all want to share the two in the back? Did y'all want to share? You sure? Okay.
All right, so showers, sleep, and 2 meals a day. I highly believe that that's really important whenever you're going to a con, not only for your beneficial health, but just altogether, we don't want to offend people by body odor.
Yeah.
I always try to follow that the best we can. Sometimes we get excited, we forget things, and we're in the day of doing everything we can think of in the matter of 24 hours. I mean, that's what really the con's about. I always try to involve as much as I can with eat, sleep, shower, and take meals because that's very.
All right. So, and the next question is like, would you say that every time you have been to a con, has it been a positive experience?
Well, absolutely. Every single time I would get such bad after con depression because now it's really bad. It's right, my job always gives me the day right when I get back from con. So I always get that reality of like, man, I'm not with a bunch of cool people that really like me. But yeah, every single con, there's always going to be like bad things that happen at the con. Mistakes happen. Different like situations are uncontrollable. Different medical conditions are uncontrollable as well. So things happen at the con. But you shouldn't let it ruin your whole experience. You either have 3 days of the whole con, or maybe one day. Don't let that tiny moment that will probably last like 30 minutes or maybe less. Let that ruin your entire like 12-hour day. No matter what, you're gonna meet a lot of cool people and have some really great experiences here. No matter how old you are, no matter what you are, you're gonna have fun here.
Oh yeah. And just real quick, I just wanted to thank the YouTube. Thank you for the subscription. But for me, every convention that I've been to, even on the last day, I get that con depression because I know we got to go back to our normal lives, and it sucks. But every convention experience that I've had has always been positive. I meet so many beautiful people. I meet so many awesome furries, and I get to make a huge impact on this fandom. Even like I get to meet people like Mr. Bubbles, and I get to meet all the big streamers that you can think of that are furries. I've met them. I have connections with them. I'm friends with them, and it's awesome. That's why I like going out, meeting people, and I can just look at all your beautiful faces.
So, going to a con is like a lot of other things. I have had many, many positive experiences at most of my cons I've ever gone to, but there's always going to be, some negative interaction or some negative experience. But again, like Sports said, you can't let that back to your con experience, like you paid to go to the con, you got your weekend off, just enjoy what you have. And yeah, so not every con's going to have a positive. I know my first con, the reason I didn't have a positive experience was because I was really shy and I couldn't talk to anybody. So I was just, walking around my fursuit. But then a lot of the people in the fandom were so nice. They would come up to me and talk. And so that's that's what going to the con is all about.
Absolutely.
So, the reason why I think that cons are a positive experience for me is I'm disabled, and I found Texas Furry Fiesta, the furry fandom, actually through my local hospital, Scottish Rite Hospital, which is local here to Dallas. They actually work with patients that have spinal bifida and those kind of things like I have. So the reason why I think that the fandom is a really, really big, close heart home for me is just interacting with each and one of y'all is already a blessing already as it is. Being able to share, your stories and things like that. Being able to, see different things, musicians, DJs, dance comp, different things, artist alley, all these amazing things that we have. So I can also say that's really been a really big and positive part about being at a con is to experience those things in the 4 days that you have at a con.
Sometimes three,
Three, yeah.
like TFS.
Yeah.
So the next question is more towards you guys. How many of you, this is your first con? That's a lot of hands. So how many of you, this is your first TFS? Oh, there's more hands. Wow. Oh, okay. So how do you guys like the high end? Is it good? Is it awesome? Yeah. All right. And the staff here, they have been so awesome. They accommodate for everybody, as many people as they can. But the question is specifically, what advice do you have for the first time attendees?
You're gonna meet a lot of very different people here. Lots of people with different backgrounds, different identities, different disabilities, a lot of different people who you've never heard of before. And there's a lot of people that you're gonna like talk to random out of the blue, and they're gonna sound like you're gonna be this kind of weird, and be like, all I ask for you to just be as kind as possible. This community is only been is built around positivity and kindness. We're all different here. We've all probably maybe had similar experiences of being shunned for what we are. So the best advice I can give is just like just enjoy yourself by being a very positive figure around everybody you meet, and that will spread around everybody.
Oh yeah. For me, my advice, have fun. That's what we're here for. We're not here to, oh, it's just another day. It's not another day. This is just it's a chance to have a vacation and have fun. I know most of you here probably are on vacation and this is what you chose to do. So it's a very good decision, by the way. But for me, have fun. That's number one. Number one rule, have fun. And number two rule, be safe about it. So if you will meet a lot of people and like Mika said, different backgrounds, different personalities. Everything will be different from your norm. Just like there's people with certain disabilities, there are people who are accessibility, people who are, very outgoing, some people who are more closed off. You have people from every walk of life here at this convention. Maybe not every walk, but 90%. But you'll have lots of people. Just be nice, have fun, and be safe about it.
So, we'll echo on the having fun. It's always important to have fun, but some of the things I think first time con attendees need to know, especially when it comes to students, is that you want to hydrate. And even if you don't have a fuzz suit, it's still important to hydrate. It's very easy to walk around having fun, talking to people, and then completely forget to drink the entire day. And it can make you pretty sick. And you want to have a good con experience, so definitely hydration is key.
Especially
Oh, yeah. Talking about cons, right?
yeah.
I was thinking this is like one of the this is more harder than TFF.
Yeah, especially because it's August. It's like average has been 95. So please stay hydrated.
Yeah. And the second thing, and it's kind of something that shouldn't be said, and it still applies across, like more than just outside in and out of the cons, but it's always important to ask, communicate, and get consent. Like a lot of the times, I have experienced this as a student, and I would have a lot of first time convo, and they're so excited to see me, and they'll run up and they're just like touching and pulling, and like just ask. It's very important. It's just common respect. Ask, touch, and ask to be touched.
We do have a couple more seats up here in these rows up here if y'all want to sit down. Okay.
So one of the biggest things I can also say to a lot of attendees is just remember, we're all here to have fun. You know, it's really about the time that you make to make friends and to build upon, uh, a social outcome of being around other people for the days that you're around. And the other thing that I also mentioned is that I also like to say is a lot of cons. It's good to volunteer for your con. You know, there are volunteer programs that you can do out here. That can really help us. Make this con a better experience or even a good experience.
And you get perks.
Yeah,
You get
you get
perks.
perks.
It didn't pick up on it didn't pick up on the link, but it's okay.
You get perks.
Perks. Well, if any of you are interested on that, there is a volunteer table out there right next to the Tails and Twists table. That's where you can volunteer. But piggybacking off of the consent about fursuits. For us that have fursuits, our vision is very limited. And if you've ever put one on, you just I'll let you answer, Miku.
So this suit is not only kind of hard to see in it. It also can some fursuits are very tight around the head. Like especially this one, I have to very much like just yank it down on my head to make it order to fit well. So it is. So it's also tight around my neck. So you have to be very cautious around any kind of fursuiter because you don't know like if it's loose, if they have good vision or not, if their mouth, if they have this little balaclava on that can kind of prevent their mouth from being open. And there's a lot of furries out there who have medical conditions. Like I remember this one furry who's an arcade furry. He has diabetes and he has an accessibility like a pouch on his fursuit that he can inject himself with insulin if he needs to. So there's a lot of, and you definitely need to be careful around a lot of other furries. I know this furry that's a good friend of a mutual of mine who has POTS and Reese, and they do sometimes have they do have like a POTS situation happening. And even you can't just judge somebody because they're wearing a fursuit and they have a medical condition. They still want to have fun despite those challenges. Like I have this. It's very hard for me to walk sometimes, but I still want to enjoy myself with Nico. I still want to enjoy myself with my other fursuit Scorch. So just always be considerate of a lot of fursuiters. These are like thousands of dollars that they're wearing right now.
Oh yeah.
So you just want to be as careful as possible. Give them hugs, high five them, pat their head if you want to. Just like don't tackle them.
Yeah, and those in that hallway, if y'all want to come in, hey, never mind. All right. So for me, like I wear this. This is my fursuit. Uh, for us, a lot of it straight on, we can't see. A lot of furries who wear them, we can't see straight on, so we have to look to either one of the sides so we can see you. And usually, typically about this range, that's out of our range. So, and hearing is also very limited because it's a bunch. Sometimes it's a bunch of foam and fur. And other ones it's PLA, which is also very restrictive on hearing. And those are in full suit. Those are also very heavy and they can be difficult to wear. For others, it's also difficult for us to move around. And so we have to take extra time though and extra extra precautions so we don't step on anybody and we're being careful for keeping ourselves safe. Especially consent is a very important factor. If you want to say get someone's attention who's in a fursuit, don't say hey. Wave your hand, be obvious so we can notice you. Instead of just that's a light tap. A light tap on the shoulder, okay. But not banging on the table or not banging on somebody, that is very rude. So just be obvious and be in their line of sight, either not straight on, but either to the left or to the right if you want to get their attention.
So some basic guidelines, especially with fursuiters, is do not pull on the wings and tail for the suitors that do have wings and tails. A lot of the time, those are very delicate accessories. They can rip if they have hair pieces. You have to be careful with that too. Like messing up the fur by ruffling is also a really bad idea because, again, these suits can be thousands of dollars. And so, if you want to try and protect as much as possible and getting the fursuiter's attention. Definitely try to be obvious in front of them, call out their names if you can see them. And I think one of the more less known rules is that a lot of the times in suitors do not want to be photographed when they're taking their heads off and carrying it around. Um, Definitely not in the fursuit lounge, but even outside, if they don't have their heads on, ask before photographing them. That's a really important thing because a lot of times I know myself personally, if I don't have my head on, I do not want to be photographed. And that's pretty common. So it's just a sign of respect.
Oh, yeah, definitely. If it's like she said, especially some of us don't want to be photographed if we don't have our heads on because we are very particular about our identities and about if we have those little tags like photos, yes, then yes, absolutely, we would love to be photos. Not in that way, but did you mind when I got it? We oftentimes, like I said, be obvious. And if you do this, that means would you like a picture? And we'll take that most of the time we'll say yes.
It's also the ASL sign for
Yes.
One thing I'll add to the photos is to remember that your flash is not on. I've had that happen before where I've got like the flash and I'm like, oh, I can't see now. But yeah, but other than that though, when it comes to, fursuiting, the thing that you have to remember is we only have so much vision. So if you were to take your hands in front of you and put them like this, it would kind of be like almost like if you were blind on what either side of you. But sometimes vision can be real wide. It just depends on how the suit is made. Uh, Another thing also is that if you ever see a suitor struggling, like maybe to get upstairs or they have a hard time trying to find something, it's okay. Can you like reach your hand out and be like, can I help you? Do you need do you need some help? Those are good things to be a handler. Handler, you know, in general is a good thing to kind of learn in general too, because it kind of teaches you about how a fursuit, with the vision kind of like pushes you to where you understand where you can know what the vision is, and then you can kind of understand how we see and how we do things.
Can I add something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I also wanted to add that especially in elevator lines, especially those four suiters, if we've already been four students, we're staying in elevator line, try to be respectful and let them go on the elevators first. Because sometimes we could be dying of heat stroke trying to get up to the room.
Oh yes, definitely. Especially it's a bit of both actually. Accessibility first with fursuits and full fursuits. We could be dying in sweat and people will just, you know, cut us off.
Yeah.
Just to be blunt. But then with that, just be respectful And let us go first, especially like people with accessibility, full suits, even mini part like the full partials. Like we'll have arm sleeves, leg sleeves, and we could be dying and nobody would know. Like, but the obvious would be that we're weaving back and forth and we're trying to get air. And so, moving on to the next question. How have you ever been around what is called a musky husky? Basically, someone who's very stinky.
Thankfully, no. I can just skip my part.
So I have like going and passing. I have been by a few. Not gonna name names, but I have been by a few, and the two things that can help: shower, deodorant. Well, three things: shower, deodorant, and fursuit spray. Those are the three most important things you can do to combat the musky husky.
Yes, I can definitely agree with that. I have interacted with a couple, and again, it's important to follow the 621 rule that we mentioned earlier. At least one shower. If you're full suiting, at least try to wash your suit after a convention before you go to another convention, and fursuit spray is a must.
I'll agree on all those things. Most definitely, yeah. Just make sure that, after, suiting for long days, you can spray it down with fursuit spray. Uh, just make sure that you keep up with, what your suit is like. So,
Oh yeah. All right. So this is a question for everybody, including us up here. How many friends have you made at conventions?
I lost count.
I didn't make much when I was younger, of course, so it's still minor. But now that I'm 18, 19, I love talking to people. I love meeting people. So, like, I just went to a room party full of like 20 big influencer furries. So, and they were like super cool to me. They were really nice to me. And I was making a lot of gifts for a lot of people. So I kept giving them stuff. And I've made a lot of fast friends after that. If you're not really somebody who wants to make friends with a lot of furries, you don't have to. But it definitely does help make your experience much better to have connections, to have some like friends you're really still looking forward to meeting at con, you know?
Yeah. I can say I have met tons of people. I have lots of friends. It's like I'm very outgoing, so that's a little perk on my side. So I'm very outgoing. Hey, I have fun at conventions. I meet a lot of people.
I have kind of a hard time meeting people. I tend to be really shy meeting new people I don't know. But if there's any place to make friends, it's definitely a furry convention because I've always been somebody that would come up to you, talk to you, and eventually you would make lots of friends. I already lost track of how many friends I've made. But some of my best friends I have made were from furry conventions, and it's fun.
So my husband, like I said at the beginning, my husband's not here, but I actually met him at Anthropon, um, and we got married that same year. So we, as of August 7th, which was last week, we've been married for 2 years. You're still going strong. So he's upset he couldn't be here, but work called and he had to stay. He also has to take care of my service dog. So because he doesn't like being by himself and he doesn't like big crowds. So moving on, what's your favorite convention that you've ever been to?
Definitely AmberCon 2019 was the peak of my furry obsession. It was the peak of me getting still like I have this really cool shirt. I have shirts from Amazon 2018 and 19. And that was definitely one of my favorites because everybody was like it was beach themed. So
Oh,
I have a blue and white and yellow shirt about that kind of beach theme, and everybody was going with the printing floaties, wearing beach outfits, stuff like that. One was in a blue skirt, which was awesome.
oh, heck yeah.
But I always loved it because I got to meet like such cool people there. I think I actually ran into Majira Strawberry at one con.
Oh, you really?
Yeah, I real quick stopped him and took a picture with him. So that was awesome. Like, especially at a young group who's all crazy about Flappy Birds.
Speaking of Majira, he shadow showed up here last year to TFS last year, specifically to look for me.
Oh, cool.
He went to look for me because I sounded like him. That's literally the only reason.
I met a lot of other cool Flappy inspired me. I met a dead bird kind of very much inspired me to make gimmick suits like Miko right here. So yeah, that was and I got a lot of cool stuff out of it. I met a lot of I still am in contact with a lot of vendors at cons because I just keep buying stuff from them. So and the panels I went to was super fun as well. It's inspired me to make my own panels. It definitely inspired me to be more confident in what I do in the bird panel. 2019, yes.
Oh heck yeah! Mine actually is also Anthrocon, but it wasn't 2018. It was actually last year's Anthrocon. We actually maxed out that hotel. We filled the Pittsburgh hotel to the brim, and all the hotels around it. There was like what seven? Was it 19,000? That was a lot of people, and
And
it was very very.
and compared to that, you've been at CFF, that was only 8,000.
It's only half of what was at AC. But that was my most favorite con to ever go to date so far. AC 24 was the best experience I could have ever had. It was a blast. I met tons and tons of people. 90% of them I'm still in contact with, and some of them are here with me. And what's the favorite one you've been to?
I haven't had the pleasure of doing AC or MFF. Maybe it'll be my best con when I get to attend. But my best con so far that I've experienced with was ACFI. Now I'm also biased because it's my hometown, my home con, and I've been going there since it was created. But I had a lot of fun at ACFI. It's always nice people, and I got to meet Majira and Strawberry at ACFI too. I don't remember 2018, don't remember the year, but that was a great experience. Because I was watching a lot of the YouTube influencers, including the podcasts, the YouTubes, and getting to meet Sajira was awesome again.
Yeah. Speaking of YouTube, we are live on YouTube right now. So if y'all want to, if you don't have to, but if you want to, the YouTube name is Roxie the Kitsune, and I'm on YouTube. If you don't have to if you don't want to, but I suggest it. Anyway,
So my first ever con I attended was obviously 2013 TFF. I was walking around the con floor. I had anxiety. That was one of the things I used to have was anxiety attached, really bad, because I didn't know how to, be social that much. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know kind of who to interact with or who to be around. Well, truth be told is I was walking around, and this was before the times now that they are now who they are. But I actually created a bond with a really special person in the fandom, and that would be Telephone. I know her very personally. She,
Telephone.
I do, yes.
Oh,
It's here.
Yeah,
oh, what? Oh my goodness.
but Telephone has been nothing but an inspiration to this fandom, and I can honestly say that, that's just one of my most favorite memories is meeting her, meeting the people that I've also met and the friends that I've created. We also do my partner and I for the con. We mostly do for TFF or ACFI. We like to do room parties, and we do room parties for the con to be able to create a safe place so people can be able to connect and have a good time, have a safe time, and things like that. So that's another reason why I also love TFF in general and also ACFI. But I can honestly say, out of most of my experience, though, it's just been nothing but a positive experience. Just getting to know everybody and creating a bond.
Yeah, I also do room parties. It's fun. it is so much fun to do. Just like after the events of the day, we need a little bit of winding down, maybe some that spicy water. So I, for me, every room party I host, I make sure to card everybody. Doesn't matter if you look at it or not, I still card. But I just want to keep everybody safe. See, my main goal is to keep everybody safe and to give people what I wasn't able to get as growing up. That's my whole thing for this whole family. I want to give people things that I didn't have as a kid. So, with that being said, what's the best thing that happened to you at a convention?
That's hard because a lot of things happen.
You have to name one specific thing.
Think there's so many, and it's hard. I don't have good memories. I think so far the best one for this con was I've known this person a little bit, and I've talked to them. I haven't seen talk, which is Scorch Hound, and I was able to I was able to talk to them through there, and I was able to like just we were mutuals, nothing too special. But today they were having a POTS episode, which made them almost very sick and got them and was almost about to call the ER for them. And they recognized this suit and yelled my name just so they could have me over there and comfort them. And that made me feel really important to that person. Not only did they recognize me, they wanted me to be over there to comfort them because they cared about me and that they cared about me as a person for them to comfort them. For me that was the most special moment in college.
So, was it the dance competition yesterday? It was all right.
I liked it.
It was my first time DJing.
Oh, you did a good job.
So for me, the best thing that happened to me at a FurCon was meeting my husband. Like I said, we met a couple of years ago. We started dating about 5 years ago. We met for the first time in person at AC last year. That was the first time we ever met in person. We got married that same weekend. And then, well, we met at AC. He came down here and we got married. This was the weekend before TFS 23. And that's the best thing that happened to me. Like I said, was meeting my husband. But the second best was Machiro straight up just coming up. It's like first thing he said was, "You are you the one that sounds like me?" That's the first thing he said to me.
So I think one of the best things that happened to me in the con would be my first ACFI con that I actually dance con in. It's I was terrified on stage before I became a furry, even going into being a furry, and I could never speak in front of two people, much less a room like this. And I would watch all the dance comps, and when I finally had the confidence to compete in my first dance comp, it changed me as a person. I gained more confidence doing it. It was so much fun. And it's even if I didn't win the first time I danced, obviously, but it's about getting a best, having fun, and I come to the realization that that is the best thing that happened to me at the con, and ever since I've become a dancer because I want to inspire others as well to have that self confidence.
Yeah, that's awesome thing.
So one of the biggest things that I can honestly say that has made my fun experiences for the number of years is I was always on a journey to find somebody, and I ended up finding my wife that I'm now with for 2 years, and she's been nothing but my inspiration. The people that I've also met too, and everything, but she actually got me into dancing. I'm now actually a dancer for her, and I've always had the inspiration to do it here in my hometown, but never had the ability or the confidence to step up on the stage and, inspire other people. So being able to do that, I feel is one of the coolest things to, inspire people, and that's what I really gear towards when I come to a convention is the confidence of bringing people into the reality that you're at a convention with not just yourself, but among, thousands of people that could have the similar interest or, the same in common. You never know. It just takes time for you to find those right kind of people that you can find. And I happen to find all the people that I found now, and I'm grateful for who I am now and who I was when I first started in the fandom. So I really hope that everybody here strives for what they really, really want, and I hope you eventually get that.
And I agree with that. So we're gonna skip a couple of questions. Just for time's sake. Uh, so are there any unwritten rules at while attending a convention?
I think so, yeah, definitely. You don't want to just, so one thing you don't want to do is you don't just like butt into other people's friend groups and just try to like instantly,
I think it's probably something else.
okay, don't mind that.
Don't mind that. I'm sorry.
The red I would say this early,
Huh? The rave sex
the
door.
rave.
Oh, it must be really good. That's so sad. So
No, yeah.
I left field.
But a lot of people, like a lot of people, you don't just. There's a bunch of people who like who are just a bunch of group of furries that are doing their own thing, having their own kind of fun. You don't want to just go up to them and just instantly start trying to be their friend, especially if you know them from like a social media platform or stuff. It's the same thing with like about like conversations about parents' relationship, you know. Like you don't like just because that first shooter is pretty popular and they're nice and they want to talk to you. They don't know you. They don't even know your name, your actual name. So you can't just like immediately assume that people are going to automatically be your friends unless you really get to know them and confirm that you're their friends. You know, and I've had some people who like really try to get too close to me though, and it's not fun. So
I think for me especially, etiquette is very important. Like if you don't know them, don't butt in. It's courtesy. Like if you want to take
chit chat and stuff, but you can like start
you can
conversation.
like for me just I've had it happen to me. I've had people like I'm in the middle of a conversation, just having a conversation, and be people who just ease in and just stand there, not saying anything. So if you want to talk to me, then it's like, hey, just start talking. Don't stand there. Because, it's a little bit disrespectful. You just stand there and eavesdrop in. Because that's not very nice. But respect is the number one thing around that. It's one of the unwritten rules of fandoms. Yeah, it'll be in the rules, but nobody has common sense to follow. But I'm not saying that you guys don't. I don't want to say that. But other people, like for me especially, like I want to be clean and clear that especially around fursuiters, those who we have difficulty to hear and see, we can't really tell what's going on. There would be people, especially with accessibility, and don't be mean. It's rude to be mean.
So I think from the unwritten rule is a lot of times both students and non-students, you want to pay attention a lot to the tags that they're wearing. A lot of times nowadays with all these vendors on the tag, it's important to look at the tag like don't hug or hugs welcome. They have disability tags
or silent seeker tags.
yeah, yeah. Gender tag. And so it's not a rule, it's not written anywhere, but it's very and if they don't have the tag, just ask. And if they have the tags that are hanging visibly, respect that. And I think that's a really important thing.
I agree with that.
So my thing is all across the board, basically what everybody was saying here is, if you want to be treated equally, treat others the way that you would like to be treated, or, treat the way that they would like to be treated as well as acknowledging who they are. Because, everybody's here to enjoy their time and make their time and make memories. That to me is really, really important.
I agree with that. All right, so one big thing that I mentioned at my last panel. So say my my ex stalker, other terrible person, whatever, is here. What do I do? Just ignore them.
Avoid them. Just ignore them. I've seen so many people at a con that I know are horrible people that have done horrible things. You, if you want other people to be informed about it, maybe take like a picture of, don't take a picture of them at the con.
No, that's
Take like find a picture of them in other cons, well, other taking of them. Inform the internet about it, make a post about them being at the con, just inform people about it so they can avoid them too. But other than that, but I wouldn't recommend that even if you want to, like maybe that's a good moral thing. But the most you want to do is just like you know,
yeah,
walk around.
just avoid.
And right.
And another, like, to piggyback off of that, don't, it's like, yeah, they may be here, but that doesn't mean you have to interact with them. Yeah, and you don't have to go to the staff either, because the staff has already got so much going on. They've got a whole convention to run, for Christ's sake. Like, we have the best thing that you can do is avoid them. If they come in contact with you, just a respectful hi, how are you? Just that little 10-second conversation is all you have to do. You don't even have to do that. Just say, I would not like to, I don't want to talk to you right now, or, a little, something a little more respectful than that. I do not wish to talk right now. And move on. That's it. Just even like the park rangers, those are the people in the green shirts, like the green polos, those are our park rangers. They keep our con safe. And they're bogged down by enough already, like keeping a con safe, keeping up with security. They've got so much on their plate they're fine. They just avoid. It's the best thing you can do.
Yeah, the con is a very large space. You're not confined to a room, and so if your ex, doctor, whoever is here, just try to avoid them. And I would add to only contact park rangers if they come and, assault you or
If they're
right. Yeah, physically make a threat. And absolutely, that's a part of your consent. But other than that, it's a large time space. You don't have to be anywhere, so just walk away.
Yeah, just basically all across the board, what they were saying is just if you have any kind of negative interaction with anybody that you dislike at the time, that you're trying to enjoy your vacation, the best thing you can do is just either walk away or just not acknowledge them. I mean, if they do walk up to you and verbally say something, just like them, go, I'm sorry, but I would like to interact with you, but not right now. I have something else I need to be doing. Just the best you can do is just kind of walk away and just not acknowledge the person, or just as I was saying, just pretty much just say, hey, look, we have our differences, but now's not the time. I just don't have the time right now. I appreciate you for coming up and trying to talk.
yeah. And this is gonna be our last question for stream. Wow.
What if they're actively searching for you and asking others?
And that
That would be con staff.
would be you would have that is something you would take to the park registries.
You can also maybe it also if they ask you, you can maybe get if you want to get security involved, then
Yeah. Yeah. And
And then the crime.
another thing, the park rangers, they're not the police. If it's something that actively involves the police, call 911 first. Then let the park rangers know. Like, hey, I called 911 and this is why. So that's the most important thing. Like say, like you said, if they're actively searching, then that is where you involve the park rangers, possibly the police. But the last question, how can I find people that are into my interests?
Go to panels. No, I'm hosting a Hatsune Miku panel later on today. If you want to meet people that have a similar interest to you, go to a panel and interact with them. At the very end of the panel, go try talking to other people that were at the panel. And maybe just give a conversation to them. You probably find a best friend.
Oh yeah. It's like for me, I met my team here at the front. I met my team through like we just hang out on Discord, we have similar likes, and they wanted to come, so they're here. But other people like that are outside of my friend group, we met at cons by, room parties, hanging out in the general like lobby or hangout area. Or just in passing, like, hey, can we step aside for a moment and talk? And that's where we build a friendship from there.
Um, meet read, which are usually available at most conventions, is a great way to find people of similar interests. A lot of the times they'll do like interest meet and greet or species meet and greet. So
I just did a pokey for meet and greet yesterday.
there you go. I'm a dragon hybrid, so I go to the dragon meet. So sometimes they're species specific, so you have specific species, you go to meetups, you'll find species specific meetups. The gaming meetups, the game room is a great place, the social areas absolutely, and of course group parties.
Yeah, so all across the board again, those are definitely great ways to be able to communicate.
Let's see.
Gesundheit. Uh, how I actually think is another good way is there's an app that is out there for furries. It's called Bark. It's not just a site for finding your partner.
It's not a site. It's not a website.
That's an app.
It's an app. I know. I'm saying it's not a hookup site, but it's there so you can see people who are close to you. You can meet up. It's like, hey, let's hang out.
Yeah. So yeah, you can do like that, or of course, the panels are a great way to also connect as well too. And it's just pretty much like that, just walk around the calm floor. Also, that's highly recommended. I mean, I've 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 walked around the calm floor for hours and hours and hours, and I've met so many people just hanging out on the calm floor. I mean, it just it's almost like you have to put a lot into it, but it's a lot of good feel after you find that connection for sure.
All right. So now that's all of our questions. Do you guys have any questions for us? Yes.
So,
It's what's really cool about volunteering is number one, you can help other people at the con make their experience better, and that gives you a sense of completion and makes you like you get this feel good feeling. And if you like that, you can help build this convention and everything in it.
You don't have to be strictly onto a professional side when it comes to volunteering. I've met plenty of volunteers at this con right now. They're very interactive and very friendly. You don't have to always just be in like work mode. You can also you still have fun as a volunteer.
Yeah.
So I'm currently staff, but I began out as volunteering at a con, and one of the great things I say is a lot of times you can look to the schedule, and if there's something that doesn't interest you during that specific time frame, that's a great opportunity to volunteer, because it's just a couple of hours here and there. I mean, it's whatever you want to do, and so if you find something that doesn't interest you at that specific time frame, volunteer during that time, and then you can enjoy the rest of your time. And in return, depending on the con, you can get either free stuff or you can even get free admission next year.
Yeah. Any other questions? No? All right. That's the end of the talk show. What?
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
No. All right. No, Patrick, it's not an instrument. Anyway. Oh, my friend. It's okay. Um, so thank you everybody so much for coming out, hanging out. You guys have been awesome. If you would like to come up and talk to us after, take a picture with us. We're all willing to take a picture, unless you have to be somewhere.
No.
Okay. Yeah, we're all willing to have a picture if you want. That's the end of the talk show. And thank you guys for hanging out and hope y'all enjoyed it. Did y'all enjoy it?
Yeah.
Okay.